Hi Cancer, let's get into your June 2025 reading. Okay, I'll start by pulling 3 cards. What's been going on with Cancer? What have you been working with up until the beginning of June? We'll look at present energies as well as upcoming near future energies for the sign of Cancer. And as we go through the reading, I'll just keep pulling cards and get deeper into the messages that are coming up. Okay, let's get into it. The sun moves into your sign this month. Cancer season begins towards the end of June, around that beautiful summer solstice we have, and that's going to be something to really look forward to. Here's the 10 of Wands. You've been holding a lot lately, Cancer. Okay, so there's a lot on your plate, has been a lot on your plate. 5 of Swords and the 6 of Wands. Okay, so you've been kind of, waiting for your time to shine. You've been waiting for your reward, and it might come through around the end of the month during that summer solstice energy, where really summertime, at least on the northern hemisphere, speaks so much to fruition and energy and growing and things in full bloom and coming alive. You know, it's interesting that we all take summer vacations really during the most productive, energetic season of the year, and we start and initiate things in the winter time, which is really the most dead time energetically of the year. So you might be starting to think about things in a new way lately, Cancer, and you're starting to actually think about what works for you, even if it isn't just the kind of completely unfitting with status quo or the norm. You really are kind of like past it now. I think you know exactly what works and what doesn't work for you. But all that being said, certain external circumstances that you're dealing with in life at the moment can't be avoided. Like this big bag of gnocchi that is on this very strong person's back. There is so much that you're carrying right now. Pressure, weight, responsibilities, worries at times, of course passions and things that you want to grow and that you're happy with as well. But there is a lot of pressure on you, it seems, as you enter the month of June. What are you juggling? How many things are you keeping afloat right now? Can you delegate? Because as you can see here, the more you try to do this all on your own, you're actually leaking energy, okay? So there are cracks that are beginning to show for you, Cancer. And you may or may not have heard about beautiful, big, fabulous, benefic, full of blessings planet Jupiter entering the sign of Cancer on June 9th and remaining to be there for 13 whole months. It's going to be fabulous for you, especially, Cancer. However, the initial entry of Jupiter is squared by Saturn as initial entrance into Aries. So there's a kind of limit, and there's a sort of, now by July, this is going to be ancient history in a sense, but there is a certain limitation that is imposed on you in the month of June. And it really doesn't start to alleviate or get lighter until closer to the end of the month, even into July. Maybe that's when you get your answers. Maybe that's when you get your yes, but you're leaking some sort of energy here the more you try and do it on your own. It's not going to work as effectively like that. You're going to have to try and share the load, share what's been crushing you, so to speak. And even though you're strong, I mean, that doesn't mean that you have to do this all alone, okay? The 5 of Swords, when your back is turned, right? And this is what I'm talking about, a leak of energy. When your back is turned, someone's eaten out of your damn plate, okay? So, and you're, as the Cancer person, like, not to stereotype you, you're probably the one preparing this meal as well. So double whammy of a sort of like some sort of I don't know, there's a little deceit there, there's just a low blow, there's a kind of taking advantage of you, really, taking advantage of the fact that you are not great with your boundaries at the moment, that you probably will say yes, that you'll probably take care of everything, and that you're known to be the type of person that could even drop what's important to you in order to go and solve or help or care for somebody else. Beautiful and admirable qualities, of course, but at what cost? Because what about your time to shine? Because this June is when the sun moves into Cancer and the solstice occurs. So we're thinking from the 20th of June onwards, this has been a time that's almost been written for you, in a sense, in a fated way, for you to get your flowers, to be applauded, to have your accolades celebrated. And you want to enjoy this because you truly deserve this. So making sure that you're seeing what's going on in terms of what's going on in your business, in terms of what's going on in your domestic world, in terms of what's going on in your social networks. Let's clear it up so I know what I'm getting at here. Okay. That being said, if this reading ends up resonating as we go, there will be a link to an extended down below. And yeah, make sure you're liking, you're sharing, you're commenting, you're subscribing. Let's clear up that 10 of Wands. And the thing is, I'm picking up that somebody spots this and somebody says to you, Cancer, do you know what's going on here? Like, do you know such and such is essentially, when your back is turned, taking credit. They're not crediting you for the work. They're plagiarizing you. They're doing something sneaky that might not be like worst case scenario or anything like that, but it's because, not that it's in any way your fault, but it's because you're allowing your energy to leak right now, and that there's these cracks showing because of the 10 of Wands. So naturally, as it happens, it's going to, at least you're just subconsciously doing this, you're drawing in people that are going to take advantage because you're not fully putting yourself first. I have the 9 of Wands, Nine of Pentacles in reverse and the 3 of Swords. So if we know anything about the 3 of Swords, and I'll find you a more classic representation, it is about a betrayal in a way, because there's some sort of suffering here. There's some sort of a heartbreak here. And it feels like you are upset as you enter the month of June. How come I'm the person carrying this bag of gnocchi alone? How come I'm the person with all of this pressure, responsibility? Why do I have to have the answers? Why is it all stacked on me? And am I missing a 3 of Swords in my deck? This will be a good indication for me that I have been, no, there it is. 3 of Swords, you know, this is a painful realization. And the way that this tomato is like so full and juicy, even, it's like this has, like, this is tea, like this is a major realization. And you might actually be thinking, like, how did I not see this getting bigger and more out of control? How did I not see this growing into the situation that it is now? So there would be a little bit of this, you know, when your kind of back is turned or when your vision is blocked, and you know, that might be through external circumstances that have been just piling up on you, and you are kind of annoyed with yourself almost that you haven't seen this yet. And then somebody does come in, and I don't think they're coming in like an I told you so, and I certainly hope not, because if there's anybody this month that tries to knock you when you're down, that is something that I think is important to witness and deal with. But I think it's going to be more like somebody who has been watching how successful you've become in a admiration kind of way, more or less. The 9 of Pentacles is a very successful energy, but when she's reversed like this, it's actually about you realizing the cost of your taking an eye off a ball, or neglecting yourself, or allowing for, and this is where there could be some responsibility that you might want to take, allowing for a situation to have grown legs like this, and kind of allowed a situation to become commonplace, or to be kind of expected of you. And somebody seems to come in, or maybe already has at this point, that you're watching it, like late May, early June, and kind of giving you this kind of like heads up to say like, I don't know if you're aware XYZ, but you get the impression that I'm not going to have success if I continue allowing this energy to leak, and certainly if I keep doing it all on my own. And you're potentially in Three of Swords energy, upset about this. The other thing that could be the case, say there is something that has been building and building up, a celebration, a party, a parade, a festival, a dinner, something that you've been trying to create or have as a sort of a positive occasion or take part in. There might be towards the end of May and beginning of June some sort of a Three of Swords realization that this is not going to be as effective or successful as you had hoped. And the lesson there, I think this might not be applying to everybody by any means, but the lesson might there be just back to this, like, no man is an island. You might not be able to do this all on your own. It's okay to seek support, and actually that's sometimes in our life kind of crucial. So the Five of Swords, who's not gonna be happy? The Magician popping out of the deck. I'll probably have to look at the sort of strategy that you're going to start to use in the month of June in the extended. I also want to look at the seeds that are being sown by you in private about this kind of, I suppose, thriving venture or goal that you're putting your mind to at this time and calculating. I'll look at that. But wait a second, the Five of Swords. Yeah, who is not happy or celebrating you this month, Cancer? Very telling, right? Who is actually trying to take from you? And worst case scenario, we have to talk a little bit about worst case scenario with the Five of Swords, because it's kind of like the bully card, the narcissist card, the Queen of Wands in reverse, the jealous frenemy, you know, those with the evil eye, the gossips and things like that, right? You're gonna notice that when you're not vulnerable, but when you're distracted, weakened, got more than your fair share on your plate, there will be these kind of Five of Swords. You subconsciously draw people that are going to take advantage of this so that they can get ahead, or that they can take from you. I don't know, your clientele, your stockpile, your energy, even take advantage of your emotional labor that you're doing. Let's have a look at the Five of Swords. But somebody makes you aware of this, and I think you always knew this, but you're like, oh, how did I not see this? So now I have the Five of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. There is going to be identifying people probably from your freaking past. They might even be family members. They might be from your inner circle. They might be people that it's funny that way. It's actually funny the way it oftentimes happens, that if I look at it from a kind of karmic point of view, which I often do as a karmic astrologer, so bear with me if this isn't really your cup of tea, Cancer, I'll be quick. A lot of the people that we like get into sort of like foundational relationships with, old friends, family members, people we grow up with, people that, you know, we get into early relationships with, there is a kind of energy there of like there might be something karmic to work out or to kind of end a loop with. And I get the impression that why is it that sometimes when we have huge celebrations or wins or achievements, that it isn't those people people that are the most happy for us. Sometimes it's somebody you've met online, or you know through this new job you have, or you've gotten to know over the last year or so, that are truly like, let's go out, like let's celebrate this. Or when the chips are down for you in the Five of Pentacles, and I don't mean just this month, I mean in general, they're the first to say like, oh wait, you're laid up, let me bring something over for you to help you relax, or something for you to eat, something for you to enjoy, to take your mind off things. You might just be noticing like, isn't it funny the way that's kind of coming up for you? And I think people talk about that a lot, like that sometimes it's not the people that you expect to show up or show out for you. It's not always like that. Anyway, okay, so there's a bit of that this month where this is kind of very obvious to you. But anyway, there are things to celebrate this month, okay? There are positive occasions, there are get-togethers, there is a lot of social energy all the same. At the same time, there is something that requires you to, I think, have to make up an excuse. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think some of you this month will be making up an excuse to say like, hey, you know what, I don't want to go, okay? But maybe Cancer, you can just be honest and say like, you know what, if I go, I'm going to be depleted, or my foot hurts, my back hurts, like I don't want to. That should be enough. And that's kind of helping you sort of like keep your energy tighter and more protected, and not leaking out or not feeling resentful. Because once you start feeling resentful, then you have kind of violated your own boundaries, haven't you? And that's not a great feeling. But anyway, plenty of good times this month, but also plenty of times where the best case scenario for you would really just to be honest and say like, this doesn't work for me, you actually can't come over, I have other plans. Okay. It might be possible that this month, before around the 20th of the month, you feel quite depleted. It might be that there is this energetic period of contraction represented in the fives, where you're being called to go inward, to not take everything at face value, to protect yourself in your shell a little, Cancer, and really look after yourself. Because what's coming up from the 20th of onwards is more visibility, more outward success, more career success, more progression, more of a main character energy for you, probably when the sun moves into your sign. We've got a Cancerian kind of 20th of the month onwards. By then Jupiter will be in your sign from the 9th, but then there's going to be like a new moon in Cancer, the sun in Cancer, and that summer solstice, which is very much about you as such. And this is when things are like in full bloom for you. So whatever it is that like has been building for you professionally, in terms of maybe you are somebody who works in a kind of public facing role, there could be some sort of like publicity around you, there could be some feedback, some sort of like enhancement. Overall, it's going to be pretty an enhanced time, because this is happening beside lucky Jupiter. So there is quite an abundant feel to the last 10 days or so of June. If I've still got you this far, Cancer, we're wrapping up with another couple of cards and the end of your month. Make sure you're liked, comment, subscribe, and if you want to go deeper, there's going to be an extended down below. The High Priestess and the Pope. The Pope is oftentimes called the Hierophant. Okay, ritual, you've got to do one this month. Okay, well, you don't have to do anything, but I think that this would be a beautiful time to do a new moon in Cancer ritual. Okay, end of any time from around, let me just say 11th, from around, say, let's say the 24th, 25th of June, 26th-ish of June, you can expect to sort of see something start then and come alive for you in a really kind of rapid succession over the next 6 months. So if you initiate something at the end of this month, Cancer, I see it growing and building and becoming more like exposed in the best way possible over the next 6 months. That's something to think about. Other than that, like the Pope or the Hierophant and the High Priestess are very holy cards, and by that I just mean like very sacred, very important, very revered, and you should be seen in this way. You should be revered for the divine being you are, okay? And maybe you're remembering this, maybe this month you're remembering who you are, what you deserve. More, of course, more abundance, but I think that you know that it's your time to shine and step into the spotlight, Cancer, in whatever capacity that may be, even if it just means that you are standing up and giving your presentation, or you're going to speak your truth in your social networks, or you're going to host or be the person that is a kind of you're the celebrant, you're the person that's kind of like on display and supposed to be center of attention, really. And the High Priestess and the Pope, you do something at the end of this month, Cancer, that has a lot of magic involved in it, that has a lot of potential for changing things in a subtle way for you, but in also, and I mean subtle as in like it's not overnight, but in a very profound way, especially from now over the next 6 months as this venture grows, as this magic spell you cast grows. Let me see, I just want to add something. This has caught my eye, this kind of spell book. Talk about bibliomancy, you guys. I've just opened it on the card of the month, which is the Hierophant, which is actually the card of the month for May. Well, we're still in May, but that's the Pope, right? Let's just read what this book has to say. This card represents spiritual beliefs and traditions and can often relate to a person who takes on the role of a guru or a teacher. Ancient wisdom is the theme of this card, and it is a sign that you or the person you are reading for will be delving deep into the spiritual side of life. I see that. Something holy, something sacred. This could be something as simple as taking up a meditation or attending a holistic healing workshop. Either way, fulfillment will be found through quiet contemplation. I was going to look for something else in this book, but the bibliomancy speaks for itself. I think that's all that we need to do, and maybe I'll save that for the extended. But let's leave it at that, Cancer, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye.